If you look at this first problem, it deals with simplifying a radical expression. It has a minus sign and a plus sign. The first thing I've got to make sure is that each of the numbers or each of the things that are underneath the radical is the same. The square root of 2x cannot be simplified because 2 is a prime number, prime meaning that the only multiple it has is 1 in itself. The 8 I need to try to simplify. Remember your factor tree. So I'm going to start with 8. Think of a factor of 8. It doesn't really matter. You just don't want to do 1 and 8. So a factor is 2 and 4. 2 is prime, so I'm going to circle it. 4, factor of it is 2 and 2. If you look, I've got a pair of 2s. So that means I can take out 1, 2. And I'm going to be left with the other 2 up underneath the radical. Now 72, so I'm going to try to simplify that. Factors of 72, there's quite a few. You could start with 9 and 8, you could start with 36 and 2. I would try to go probably the 9 and 8 just so you don't have as much work to do. Factors of 9, 3 and 3, 3's prime, circle it. Then you got 4 and 2. Factors of 4 is 2 and 2, running a little bit out of room. Now, to factor or to simplify this one, I've got a pair of 2's and I've got a pair of 3's. So I can take out 1, 2 and 1, 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then that leaves me a 2 up underneath. And then I'm just going to bring down that 8 square root of 2x. Now, here's where some people will make the mistake. When you go to simplify this, you just add or subtract the whole number portion. So 8 minus 2 is 6, plus 6 more is 12, and then just bring down that square root of 2x. You do not add the 2x's, you just bring them down. Now the next problem is a binomial times a binomial with radicals. So it looks really bad, but it's really not that bad. Remember full. F stands for first terms. So I'm going to do 3 square roots of 2 times 2 square roots of 3. 3 times 2 on the outside is 6. And the square root of 2 times the square root of 3 is 6. Remember, you do outside numbers with outside numbers, inside numbers with inside numbers. Then I'm going to try to do this color-coded so it makes a little bit more sense. The outside numbers, so that means I'm going to multiply 3 square roots of 2 times negative square roots of 2. Remember, this is an understood 1, so 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Now, square root of 2 times square root of 2 is going to give me square root of 4. And I'll leave that for like that for right now. That's going to obviously be simplified just a little bit more. Then I've got inside terms. Let me find another color. My inside terms is the square root of 3 and the 2 square roots of 3. Remember, there's an understood 1 there. So 1 times 2 is 2. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. I'm going to simplify that a little bit more in just a moment. And then my last terms, which is this square root of 3 times a negative square root of 2. Remember, 1 times negative 1 is a negative 1, or you can just drop that if you'd like. Square root of 3 times square root of 2 is square root of 6. That means these two things right here can combine because they both have a square root of 6 with them. So 6 minus 1 is 5 square roots of 6. And then here, this is 2, square root of 4 is 2. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And then square root of 9 is 3. 2 times 3 is positive 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is just going to go away, so my final answer is 5 square roots of 6. And that is how you simplify radical equations. It's really not that bad. You pretty much do it the same exact way that you did full in the previous sections.